Hi, I'm Charlene, and I'm here with Flair's The Morning After series, where we will discuss your most pressing concerns over the previous evening's episode of The Bachelor. So yesterday was episode 2, and there's much to discuss, although part of me doesn't want to discuss the things that we should obviously discuss because I feel like we are being told to discuss those things and we're not paying attention to what the show is allegedly about, which is finding love. But nonetheless, we will discuss Corinne. I will talk about Liz, I think, in one of my other recaps because I feel like that's something I'd rather analyze a little differently. But for me today, my most pressing concern is Corinne. I feel like literally the entire episode was eaten up by either Corinne or Liz, and we didn't see really much of anyone else. We didn't even get to see girls being concerned about not getting dates. That's how focused on those two girls we were. Which is a little annoying. I found Corinne to be just like, it's just so obvious that she's the villain. It's like she's so gung-ho, so willing to play this role that I almost don't want to talk about it, and B, just like, you don't know, there's nothing to be said really. So I have notes here. Well, first of all, she's drunk all the time. If she's not, she just looks drunk all the time, which maybe she should think about before going on to The Bachelor. But just things like, okay, she interrupts all the girls and then gives a speech about how everyone should be okay with interrupting the girls, despite the girls not saying anything as far as I could tell. And then she was pissed and offended when Taylor Reid interrupted her. Again, I don't even want to waste time talking about it. It's just so obvious, and she's like I said, a caricature. She doesn't know anything about Nick as far as we can tell beyond finding him really hot. And she's so willing to just be like, oh, I want to be with him. I'm obsessed with him. I'm thinking about him all the time. She's like every Bachelor trope we've ever seen, just so willingly playing into that role and being the villain. Okay. Yeah, I said it feels like I'm taking the bait even talking about her, which I totally am. My real beef is that it's too early to be this villainous. It really is. If you look back on like the great villains of this show, to me the greatest villain of all was definitely Courtney Robertson. Anyone who saw Ben Flajnik's season will probably agree with me. If you don't agree with me, it's probably because you didn't see Ben Flajnik's season, in which case you should go watch it because it was like that was a study in villainy. And what made her such a powerful villain was that it took time for her to develop her relationship with Ben. Yes, she grated on the girls, but it was that in combination with the building relationship with Ben. And she did, I don't want to give any spoilers, but I think everyone knows, but suffice to say, she had a really strong connection, and it was that combination that made it so powerful in the house and really brought tension, I think, as a viewer, to your viewing experience. And this just feels forced. Like, she doesn't have any connection with Nick. Sorry, I still have a cold, so I have a runny nose. And all they do is just instantly make out and then talk about nothing. So it feels forced. It just feels like she wants to make no friends and wants to be on TV a lot. And that gets to my next point of, we know by now, and I think Chad was, the perfect, to me, he's like the paragon of this, that if you're a real asshole, you get airtime. And, airtime leads to a different type of fame. And I feel like whether or not that was her goal, she has to be aware of that in some degree. And yeah, it's just, there's no relationship built there. There's no warming up to it, I guess. I feel nothing when I watch Corinne. I feel nothing. I don't even feel that annoyed because it's just like I'm so separate because I haven't built any connection to her or connection to her relationship with Nick or her connection to the other girls, which is therefore like torn apart by her bad behavior. It's just, she from the get-go is this caricature. Let's see what else I said about Oh, I also mentioned Olivia, who is a dear friend of mine. She's a lovely girl. But what I meant to say about that was that at least you could attribute Olivia's villainy to, at least in part, some degree of unself-awareness, not being self-aware, while Corinne, again, it hasn't been long enough for that to happen, so that makes me think that she is fully aware of what she's doing. Okay. And, okay, one last thing about Corinne, I swear. It's about Nick. And I'm saying that one could argue that, you know, him giving Corinne all this validation, that's a producer-driven thing. And I'm not gonna lie, I totally think it is, but no matter how you slice it, let's say it's not, it doesn't reflect well on him, and I don't think it really does him justice, and it is what it is. You know, I think that it makes good TV, but again, I feel like the show has evolved past that, past giving the girl who took off her top and who's being obviously obnoxious the rose. Okay, I swear that's it. I'm not gonna talk about Corinne anymore. I'll talk about Liz. I'm torn on Liz. I know people love to not like Liz, and of course I think her intentions are probably not the most pure, but are any of the girls' intentions totally pure? Like, if I look back to my own experience, if I told you the only reason I went on that show was to find love, I'd be lying, because everyone goes on that show for the experience, you know, you might be looking for some, like in my case, some sort of catalyst in your life. You don't know what to expect, but you want some kind of unknown. And there's nothing wrong with that, I don't think. I think you would have to be kind of crazy to really go there entirely for love. You really think you're going to be the one out of the 30 girls there to make it. I think that shows a different kind of, you know, that to me that's crazier than going on it for some other reason. But where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so her intentions not being totally pure, but nonetheless, I don't think she deserves the kind of flack she's getting. I think that it would have been nice if she'd gotten the same treatment that that all the other girls have gotten, but I don't really think she has. But I don't want to talk about that now. This is supposed to be my quick takeaways, and this has not been quick. But I will talk about that, I think, in my Pretty Pandas recap. So thank you for joining me on this Tuesday morning, where I kind of crapped all over this episode. Nothing happened, you guys. It was just a couple of group dates where we just saw, like, a bunch of tension, and it just felt like the same shit we've seen before. So I'm sorry to say I was not a big fan of this episode. We didn't see any relationships develop. We saw a relationship develop between Nick and Corinne's mouths. That's all. So yeah, okay, be sure to check out my Flair recap, which I will post a little later today. And probably later in the week I will post my Pretty Pandas recap, where I'll, you know by now, I analyze that a little differently with images and GIFs. So yes, thank you for tuning in, and yeah, I'll see you soon. Bye.